You're listening to the American edition of The Voice of Russia. I'm Ric Young in Washington. On the line from Toronto, we have with us James McPhee. He's news director at Toronto's AM640 All News Radio. James, nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, good morning, Rick.
You know, I was watching the proceedings at City Council in Toronto yesterday. It was all over the place. I mean, it's all over the internet. The networks were carrying it. This was an amazing political drama. Give us your take on it.
It certainly was as entertaining as any reality TV show, that's for sure. It was heated. It was personal. There were some threats made, allegedly anyway, but some of the councillors felt threatened by the mayor and his brother, felt that they were being bullied about the situation in council. But basically, each council member got an opportunity, about 3 minutes, to ask questions of the mayor about what's happened as part of a motion that they asked the mayor to step aside for a while. It's a motion that passed easily, 37-5, but it has no teeth because there's nothing in the municipal provision here to force the mayor from office.
But as he stood before the city council, and just for our information, was he required to appear there?
He was required in terms of the motion because it was something that he was involved with, that he was the person who the motion was being put against. It was his decision, I guess, to go in to defend himself so that people can't just say things and make an arbitrary decision. So he went there, and he's been doing that every day. He's been showing up at work. He's not been shying away from the spotlight, whether it be the media spotlight or other councillors targeting him. So he's just keeps going in and taking the shots.
Well, some of the exchanges with some of the city council people, they were pretty sharp. At one point, one of the council people were talking about the alleged crack house that he was in. As we all know, Mayor Rob Ford has admitted smoking crack in one of his very inebriated states. But they talked about the house that he allegedly smoked crack, and he defended that home as having a family, this kind of thing. And there's a lot of defiance in his voice regarding that issue.
Yeah, I think what he doesn't want is somebody, a family that lives in his riding. It doesn't want them to be painted with the same brush that he's being painted with. Maybe in a case like this, he knew the couple of the people. There were 3 sons that live in the place, and he looks at the family as a good family. And maybe that his judgment, obviously being impaired on several occasions, maybe his judgment's still impaired about whether or not it's a quote unquote good family. But I think he just doesn't want their reputation to be smeared because of what he and maybe 1 or 2 of the sons have done.
Well, let's listen to at least one of the questions that was asked. It was almost mind-boggling in its answer. This is one of the city councilors and Rob Ford. Let's take a listen.
Have you purchased illegal drugs in the last 2 years?
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
Now, that exchange there was amazing to me.
It was, and that 9-second gap that's in there. When we were watching it, the mayor, he's looking up into kind of the ceiling. You can see the wheels turning in his mind. Okay, what do I say here? Do I admit it? Do I try and lie my way out of it? Whatever is the case, maybe he was doing the dates to figure out whether or not it was outside of a 2-year span or something. But it was a very direct question by Denzelman and Wong, is the councillor who, by the way, is likely to run for the mayor's chair next year in our municipal election. So it was a direct question from him, and a very direct answer, although it's certainly, as I said, the high drama of a reality TV show. It was incredible.
Now, there are some reports now that the mayor may have had an escort in his office. Have you been hearing this?
Yeah, there was there's another court case that's on the go that involves the mayor's occasional driver, and there are a couple of things that were held back by a judge as far as being made public a week ago. Well, they were released yesterday. The judge feeling that they are something that needs to be released to the public. So in that there are allegations, and I have to stress that because none of this has been proven in court, but allegations that he has consorted with escorts, even at his office at City Hall, allegations that he snorted cocaine, swilled vodka, was doing OxyContin pills, was drunk in public on numerous occasions, made racist slurs against some cab drivers, was referring to very negatively to women that associate with him. The allegations are just horrific in terms of anybody in the public.
Well, you remember in San Diego, here in the States, Bob Filner was fighting all these allegations of sexual harassment, and finally he did work out a deal, and he resigned from the mayor's office in San Diego, and he copped a plea later on, as they say, to a lesser charge, a misdemeanor. Do you see the same type of scenario coming for Rob Ford? Because, as you know, as a news person, when the allegations keep piling on, there's something there. And will the people of Toronto, in your estimation, and you're a veteran reporter, will there simply be an outcry that he's got to step aside or at least step down for a while?
There absolutely is a growing feeling that way. Even as just a week ago, his support level was consistent. He had lost a little bit, but nothing great. But we had some polling done here over the last 2 days. One poll came out yesterday with 76% of the people asking him to step aside, and then today he's planning to run for re-election next year. But today there was a poll that came out suggesting that in 4 different scenarios among candidates who have already declared and a couple of high-profile candidates who are likely to declare, he does not win in any of those 4 scenarios. So it may be in his best interest in the long run to, as you say, cop a plea, say, I'm sorry about all this, but I've got to go away now. So, but we'll see. He's a very, very stubborn man, as witnessed through all of the lies that he's been caught in over the past couple of years. And we will just have to wait and see. If we were talking this morning about betting whether or not he even shows up for today's council meeting, which is just a regular council meeting. It's
right.
Just the day-to-day operations, and we can't lay a wager on whether or not he shows up because normal people wouldn't, but he's just not the normal council guy.
Let me ask you this. You've covered him a lot. The people of Toronto elected him mayor. There was a 1999 DUI conviction. I think it's in Miami. And he was still elected by the people of Toronto. Let's suppose he goes away. He says, okay, I'm going to go away, rehab. He loses, 50 pounds, comes back refreshed and healthy and apologetic. Any chance he could stay?
Yeah, he could come back if that's the case. We had a poll that came out suggesting that 35% of the people say that if he goes away and goes to rehab, he can come back and resume his job as the mayor and run for re-election. They don't have a problem with that. So, people are a very forgiving lot. I don't think any of us, has a perfect record as far as not doing things that we're not proud of. But so we all we're willing to give people a bit of slack, cut people some slack on things like this. But this might just be too much. I don't think many people have this many skeletons in their closet.
And is he married with kids?
He is. He's married with 2 children, and I can't imagine what it's like for them to be going to school on a day like today. Yeah,
maybe he might want to consider thinking of other people other than himself at this point. James McPhee, always a pleasure. We've been talking with James McPhee, news director, Toronto's AM640 All News Radio. Keep us posted, James. I'm sure we'll talk again. And a fascinating story of one man who many people say is not looking at himself as he should.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.